This n8n project is particularly for beginners, people who are new to n8n and who are just starting to use n8n for the first time. So you would learn the building blocks of how to use n8n nodes and connect with third-party APIs in this project. Just by building this simple weather forecast bots, you would understand the basics and the building blocks of using n8n. And by the end of the video, you should be able to start building small scale automations. For this project, we would have the bot take user queries through Telegram, process the natural language using AI, get weather forecast from third-party API, and send the forecast back to the user. To get started, head over to your n8n account and create workflow. And we'll start with a Telegram trigger. Select on message trigger. Then you connect n8n with your Telegram account. You can create a new credential and you'll be required to put in your access token. Head over to Telegram and search for @bots father. Then create new bot. Give your bot a name and give it a username. Make sure your username ends with bot. And here you have your bot link and your access token. So copy your access token and head back to n8n. Place in your access token and connect. So now you can try out your Telegram connection and head over back to Telegram. Select your bot and send a message. And as you can see, the message was received. So that means the connection is working fine. Then next you add a HTTP node. For this node, we'll be using an API from Gemini API so that we can receive natural language requests from our user and it will convert the request into a JSON format. So we'll head over to Google AI Studio. And if you're not signed in, you can sign in, then head over to Get API Key. And click on Create API Key. But I already have mine created over here, so I'll make use of this. You can copy your API key, but before that, we'll head over here and copy the Google URL, the Gemini URL. So you copy it and you head over back to n8n. Then paste in your URL here and then head back. So here you need to paste in your headers, content type, and your Gemini API key. So you copy your content type, head over and click on send headers, then add your name, content type, add your value, JSON, application JSON, and correct that. Then add parameters. Second parameter is going to be your API key. So select this, head back, paste, then go and copy your API key, and then head back and paste. So now we've put in our headers and our API key, and then you can click on execute step. So the error here indicates that we forgot to place in a body. You head over here and JSON, specify body, which selects JSON. So for our JSON, this is our prompt that we are passing to the Gemini API. So Gemini receives a prompt and then converts the request from the user based on that prompt. So for our prompt, I'll head over to my GitHub Gist, and here you can simply just copy the prompt and paste it in your body. Then over here, we want to ensure we are sending a post request and not a get request. So you get a method and change it to post. Then we execute step and you have a response back from Gemini API. Once you see this response from Gemini API, then it means it's working. And you see a response here that says text. And this is the response that we'll be using throughout. So we head back to our canvas and you add the next node. We'll be needing a JavaScript code. The code we'll be using here is to transform this text response into a JSON format that n8n can understand. Now, n8n only receives JSON response, processes JSON, and responds back in JSON. So it does not understand text code or any other format. So, which is why we need this JavaScript code in order to pick out this text and then convert this text into a JSON that can be sent down to the next node. So for this, we'll be needing our JavaScript code. You can head back to the GitHub Gist and then you'll see it over here. Simply copy, head back to n8n and paste, and ensure this is on run once for all item and execute step. So for our response, we want to make sure it is exactly in this format: location and date, which is gotten from this text here, location and date. So if we head back, we can see that from our prompt that we gave Gemini, it says here that you are a strict data. It says here that you are a strict date and location parser, and it is to return a JSON in this format, which is what it is doing. So it picks out the date and location from our user input, turns it into a JSON, and sends it off to the next node. For our next node, we'll be connecting to the OpenWeather API, where we'll be getting our weather forecasts. So you click HTTP request. Before that, we'll head over to the OpenWeather API. OpenWeather, and you sign in order to get your API key. Once you're signed in or you sign up, you head over to my API keys and you will have a default API key which you can copy and make use of. So you head over to API, and for this API call, we'll be making use of the 5-day 3-hour forecast, which returns the forecast for the next 5 days for every 3-hour intervals. API doc, and here is our API link. So we won't be using this one because to use this one, it will require the latitude and longitude. We'll head down and here it says built-in request by city name. So we can simply just put in the name of the city or state we are looking for, and then it will return a result. So we copy here down to forecast, copy, head over to n8n, and place in your URL. Then send query parameters. For our query parameters, we'll be needing the app ID, which is our API key, and the city name, which is a queue parameter. So to get your API key, you head over to My Services and API keys. you should already have a default API key over here. Then you copy and head over to n8n. Then here, paste in your API key. Head back to your API. Head back to the documentation. And you can copy out app ID. Then add second parameter. For the second parameter, we want to add in the city name, which is the Q parameter. Then we head over here and add Q. Then for the value, we pick the location from the response of our JavaScript and we place it into the value. So anytime the request is being made, it selects the location from our previous JavaScript response. It selects the location value and it uses that as a location or a state or a city name. Then we execute step. So if you're also getting this error, just head over here and add HTTPS and run. If you're getting this error, it's simply because the location has no value in it and we'll need a value the request to be sent properly. So we can simply go back to our canvas and we'll need to send a message to Telegram and it pass this message down to the HTTP request, or you can simply impute a state here directly and test it out. And you can see it gives us back a response, but we don't want this. We want it to come directly from location. So we'll go back and we'll execute the workflow, and now it's waiting for a trigger event from Telegram. So we'll head over back to Telegram and we'll send a message, then head over back to n8n. Okay, and execute this. So now it works fine. So now it works fine and we can see all our forecasts for Lagos. Now, this HTTP API request returns back forecast for the next 5 days and does not search for the date. It simply returns back from today for the next 5 days. So we would need to format this properly so we'll return only the forecast for a particular date, for this particular date. And for that, we'll be using another JavaScript node. Then we'll head back to Canvas and we'll add a JavaScript node. Good. So for this node also, I have the JavaScript in the GitHub Gist. I have the JavaScript in the GitHub Gist, and you can simply head over there and copy it. But before that, you'd have to ensure that you're getting this message. You have to ensure that you've also gotten this response also. So if this is not coming in properly and this is not coming in properly, your JavaScript code wouldn't work properly. So you head over and you copy the code and paste it over here. So what the code is simply doing is it takes the date and the location that the user asked for, and it takes the forecast list and search the forecast list for that particular date, returns every matches and select only the morning and evening period, which we've selected as 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. and then formats it in a human readable format, then returns it as a JSON. So if we run this execute step, you should see this result for two items, which is the morning and the evening. We can send this response back to our Telegram user, back to Canvas, then add a Telegram node. We want to send a message. You're connected with your Telegram account, and for your chat ID, you can simply make it an expression, and from here, we'll select our Telegram trigger. So we can pick up our chat ID. So over here, you have your chat and you have your chat ID. You can drag and drop this inside here. For your text, you can copy this code. So this code returns the state, the date, the time, and the weather from the previous JSON response and returns it in this format. So you can pause the video, copy this code. Now we can execute step. And as you can see, it has worked perfectly fine. And you can head over to your Telegram to check the results. So here's the forecast and here's the response. Here's your request and here is your response back to that message. And now we can test the entire process. So we'll head over to n8n and execute workflow. Then head over back to Telegram, paste and enter. You can also test it using another state. Cool. And it returns a forecast as long as the date is within the 5-day period for morning and evening. So now if the user were to send any other random message like hello, and we head back and execute our workflow, you'll see that this request didn't run because there was no location or date. So we would want to have a node that handles this condition or this situation. Then you head back to Canvas and we'll be having an if. We'll place an if node right over here. It handles this condition when the values are null or when the values are populated. So for our condition, we are going to have if location is not empty, then add condition, or date is not empty. Now it ensures that if there is a valid date and valid location, then the process continues. If there is no valid date and valid condition, we can add another node. We can add a response node, send message, and just like before, you can get your chat ID, place over here, and add a format response. So we can have Gemini return this. Great. Back to Canvas. And now we can execute our workflow and go back and send a message. And we get a response. I didn't understand your request. Please ask me like this. And now we can run another test message. What? and we can see our bot is running fine and perfectly. Then you can save your bot and ensure it is active so it is always listening. And you can head over back to Telegram and send a message. And so with that, guys, we've built a simple weather forecast bot using n8n. And if you would like to improve on this, you could use an AI agent. So instead of having to define a strict set of processes, an AI agent would be able to handle all these processes without this definition and send a response back to the user. So thank you guys for watching the video. If you would like to see more on AI automation, please do well to subscribe to the channel and see you in the next video.